Okay, in other news, the Ducati, it seems like something went wrong with the fuel pump and I got stranded and wasn't getting fuel. But I think it turns out that there's something wrong with the switch because I really jiggled around on the switch quite a bit and on the trailer when I got it back. And this thing, I heard the fuel pump prime, but the screen is not turning on. And it might be because the voltage is low now from cranking on it so much when I was stranded. But anyways, I'm gonna get it unloaded and get it in the garage because it's gonna be a bunch of freezing temperatures and I don't want to leave it outside on the trailer. So let's get that video going. All right, another familiar sight. The Ducati in the shop. Not working. I don't know if I'm gonna want to keep this one much longer if it continues to leave me stranded, but maybe we just got some bugs to work out. So we'll see if it primes that fuel pump. I hope you can hear. It did not. There we go. So it primed the fuel pump. The screen is not showing anything. It's like very dim, and the RPM gauge is maxed out. So I don't know what's going on there. It's definitely priming the fuel pump though, and the tail light is on. So we got some wiring bugs to work out for sure. I can't really tell. But I'm gonna hook the trickle charger in real quick and see if that little extra bit of power helps it figure itself out. If not, I'll probably put the jumper cables in that battery like before. See what happens. Okay. Got some juice. This positive, negative, it's charging. Pretty sure we're in neutral. Okay, as I mentioned in some other stuff, the Ducati did leave me stranded. So I pulled the battery out and charged this thing, overnight. The little charger's got a green light, so it thinks that it's fully charged. So we'll put that back in and see if that makes any kind of a difference. I do think it's either a relay or the fuel pump wiring or something like that based on the research that I've done online. So based on that, what I'm going to do is put the battery back in and first see what happens. If things are working properly, you'll hear the fuel pump prime up, and if not, then I can pull that wiring down and turn the switch on and off and see if it's getting voltage. And if it is getting voltage for a couple of seconds, then that means that it's probably the fuel pump and not the relay. If it's not getting any voltage, then it's probably the relay, right? So let me move this camera back a little bit, and I'm going to try to catch everything. We're just going to kind of put the battery in place. I don't want to use a bunch of jumper cables, but I guess I could just do that to speed up the process. Let's just run the jumper cables from in fact, let's run it from a big battery instead of this one. That way we can save our motorcycle battery. Here's the dead one. which I need to put outside so I don't try to use it. I would gladly put at least a lawnmower sized battery in this motorcycle if I could. See that lawnmower size, 435 amps, that would really crank her over better than this wimpy ass 10 amp hour. It's like 175 amps or something. No power whatsoever. Like, there's a lot of places to save weight, but until we have better battery technology, this thing needs some cranking force, man. So let's see if the jumper cables will do it. And the top one is positive. I know it'll at least energize the relay if it was working right. So I'm not worried about that. Let's see. Yeah, this thing always draws battery power. So let's see what happens. Fuel pump energized on that turn. Let's try it again. Yeah, so I don't know. It's cut out when I was driving, so I'm not going to trust it. But let's go ahead and try to start it. I'm in the garage. I really don't want to open up the doors because it's cold outside. But let's give it a whirl. Gonna go with half choke. Oh, it won't crank it. Not like that. Through the jumper cables. Doesn't deliver enough amps through those cables, I guess. Which is kind of weird. It should be able to. Let's try it this way. No. The fuel pump is certainly priming though. So that's why I'm thinking a relay or something heat related maybe. But I would like to get it started. So I'm going to go ahead and put the battery back in then. And then go from there. I'm not going to put that little holder in here right now. I'm just going to put a little rubber piece that goes around the battery. And I'm not going to hook up my little 12-volt charging system right now either. I don't see how it's possible that could be the problem, but we've got to eliminate variables, right? The tail light's on. The headlight's on, and let's go ahead and crank it. I got partial choke. It's generally how it goes. Got a little bit of a backfire action. Let's go full choke. It might be trying to start. That's how she is, cold. Okay, now something different that I did do is I disconnected my fans, which shouldn't have had any play on, you know, I disconnected my fan switch, which shouldn't have anything to do with the vehicle starting or not, because it still have a fuse and it would still have power going through that circuit. But it's possible that this connection was loose. These wires weren't good enough, but I don't know, it was still trying to work. Yeah, it's still working. Yeah, none of this is really loose. So I don't know. I guess it wasn't warm enough yet. Tell you, this thing is temperamental. I don't think so, but that's the working theory. I'm just going to make sure they're real tight. The people at Bill Miller's barbecue claimed that nobody there had an Uber, or they could call me an Uber. I had my wallet, I could have gave them cash, but they wanted to tell me lies. So I'm thinking about hooking my trailer to my 1-ton and driving my truck and trailer through their drive-through, you know, and recording it. Because it's not really against the law. I'm just going to run over the curb a bit, you know, and kind of feel good about it and move on with my life. Well, the battery's in there tight now. I didn't put the little rubber thing in there, so it's going to jump all around, but I'm not going anywhere in this thing until I can trust it. Let's see what happens now with this connected again. Well, what do you want from me? Maybe she just wants more of that kind of attention. I don't know. I don't trust it. I'm going to have to do some more testing. But maybe my wires were just loose. I did have the fan running while I was driving. Maybe the wires were just loose right here. I did have the fan running while I was driving and the engine cut out. And I know from experience, say for example, I got this battery and I put the jumper cables on to your car, and I don't put them on real good, just kind of like that. and we go to try to jump start your car, sometimes these battery cables will lose connection even though they're still touching. Once they lose a connection, they won't reconnect through that even though they're touching. So you have to like wiggle them and get a good bite again. So if that's what happened with these bolts on this tiny battery, maybe that's what happened. In the future, when I test drive this, I'm going to bring a little toolkit, and I'm going to drive it naked like this so I can get to everything. And it's going to be a while because it's cold right now. I don't think it'll hurt anything to drive it open like this. Probably cool a lot better. I mean, I'm going to drive it in fair weather, not this crappy, 20 degrees or whatever we got right now. But hopefully we figured it out. Because the fuel pump's definitely priming. And it's getting fuel. Yeah. Well, thanks for watching. Next up, we're going to be working on the intake on this Fiero. And since I got the garage doors open, I'm going to go ahead and clean up the donor intake that we have with some brake cleaner. I think I got some anyways, somewhere here in this pile of garbage, which I also am going to be working on the next couple of days. So anyways, thanks for watching.